Hey everyone, this video is going to be for those who have any sort of hesitancy or reluctance to buying leads or paying someone to generate leads for you. So I know that buying leads can feel like a big leap, especially when every dollar matters and, money's tight. But for many, we found that simply shifting your perspective on lead buying, it could really transform how you approach this business and your entire outlook on this business. So I'm going to go through a few things here that have helped agents in the past to get over their hesitancy in purchasing leads, because in the grand scheme of things, the leads are the foundation of your entire business. Your business does not exist unless you have people to talk to, but we understand that the emotion around purchasing leads is a tough one to overcome. So let's start with this by addressing a fundamental mindset shift here, okay? So too often, agents look at leads as a cost. It's an expense that we're forced to bear. You're rolling your eyes when you have to purchase another batch of leads. You have this nervous energy when you click submit on the payment button to pay whoever you're paying for leads, right? So if you look at it as a cost, that is something that we need to fundamentally shift, because leads are an investment. They're not a cost, okay? When you invest in leads, you're planting seeds that, with the right nurturing, those seeds will grow into new clients, into commissions, into your bank account. That nurturing involves a lot of calls, automated texts and emails and all of that, okay? But it's doing that over time. And I want to make that very, very clear, because when you're buying leads, agents get too caught up with what's the immediate ROI. If I spend $1,000 today, what am I going to get next week or the week after, right? Instead of what's the lifetime value of this lead. Agents aren't seeing it they're seeing it as a cost and not an investment, all right? So for example, many of you work Facebook leads, okay? Many of you may only write 2, 3, 4% of your Facebook leads within the first week or so. But if you work your leads the full 90 days, right? You're nurturing them, you're calling them, automated texts and emails going out, that may go up to 7 to 10% plus. Okay? But a lot of you are looking at the immediate ROI. You don't see that. Remember, you're planting seeds. If you can look at this as an investment, you're buying leads, you're just planting seeds, and they'll sprout commissions over time. May not be immediately, but with your nurturing and everything over time, you can see it as an investment. So if you can see it that way, that is a way that a lot of people have overcome the hesitancy of investing in leads, okay? If you're an outbound agent, you have to make sure you're calling and nurturing your leads for the entire 90 days, right? 90 days is how long you can legally call a lead from the day it was submitted. If you are, that's an investment. But if you're not calling your leads, you're only calling your leads a few times, then yeah, that's a cost. Buying leads is a cost for you because you are not working your leads the way they should be worked. But this business is all about nurturing. It's all about taking the leads and applying effort to them over time. And that's how your ROI increases, okay? If you're looking at leads, and I've said this in videos before, if you can turn a profit in your first week or two of buying leads, that is amazing. Great job, right? If you spent $1,000 on leads and the next week from those leads that you received, you have $1,001 in your bank account, and you have all this opportunity to invest in, guys, that is a great investment. But if you don't continue to apply that activity, nurture those leads for that full 90 days, then it may not be such a great investment, but that's on you, okay? And you have to see leads as an investment, not as a cost. It's only a cost if you're not working those leads the way they should be. And at that point, quite frankly, you're not going to make it, right? NGMI, as we say in our agency, not going to make it. If you're an inbound agent, okay, make sure you're following up on your leads. Every person who takes decisive action to call them, not fill out a form, but actually call in, they're interested. There's intent there. Every person you presented rates to, you need to follow up with, okay? Nurture them. At some point, they're going to buy. It's more decisive action to pick up the phone and call in than to fill out a form, okay? There's much higher intent there. They may tell you it's too expensive or they're not interested right now, but they may do some research over time and find out, oh, wow, you actually were the least expensive and I really do need this. And it was just kind of a hesitancy because they didn't know you. But if you keep in front of them and you nurture them, even you're not interested and you're they thought it was too expensive, they may purchase from you. Not all of them will, but a small percentage of them will. And that's part of your business. That's the investment, okay? These leads are not a cost, they're an investment, but you have to nurture them over time to see that investment grow. Hope that makes sense, okay? For many agents, that like this simple mindset shift of just looking at leads as an investment and through this lens, they see it as a calculated risk, right? Instead of a cost. And that changed everything for them. So I don't know if that helps you guys, but for many, it does, okay? Leads are an investment. They're not a cost. You have to look at it that way. So next, I just want to address limiting beliefs around buying leads. There's a lot of self-doubt, okay? Many agents have this like nagging sort of doubting voice in their head telling them like, what if this doesn't work, right? And this is a fear of failure, and it's a completely natural response. Everyone's going to have this, right? But recognize it as just that. It's just a common response. And address it head on rather than it subconsciously dictating your decisions. Okay? Instead, I mean, you can reframe it. Reframe that narrative in your head like, what if this doesn't work? But hey, what if it does work? Can you visualize the potential success and how that would affect your business and your life? That's the sort of mindset shift you have to have that will open you up to more opportunity, more possibilities rather than barriers. Because you saying, what if this doesn't work? It's a big barrier in your head for you. And you need to get rid of as much self-doubt as possible to make this business work, right? Removing that self-doubt is going to create more action for you. And not just action in general, but just more applied action. You're like more quality action, trying to get better every single day and spending your hours during the day that you should be working either on the phones or getting better, building your skill sets. That's what we need to be doing all day, every day. Okay. And so you really only have that effort consistently applied over time if you have that mindset of, hey, what if this does work? You can visualize what this is going to do for you, what you can do with that business, how it can change your life, how it can change your family's life, okay? Instead of what if it doesn't work. If you're caught up in that limiting belief and that's going through your head all the time, it's a big barrier. And if you can shift that to, hey, what if this does work, okay? So maybe that will help some of you. Next thing I want to suggest if you're hesitant to purchase leads consistently is to focus on the math, not the emotion of it all. All right. This business is a math equation, always has been, always will be. When I speak with agents kind of struggling in this business, it's always emotional. Everything is coming from an emotional place, and it's rarely coming from the math behind it all. I have to go behind and say, like, hey, Jeff, these leads aren't working. The contact rate's really low on these. And then I have to go behind and do the science of it all, the math behind it. Okay, well, see how many times you made these calls. How quick did you get to your leads? Is your number flagged as spam? And this is just an example, right? But when you are feeling emotions towards certain aspects of the business, it's solvable stuff. It's math. Math will solve this, okay? So when I say it's a math equation, I mean that every problem in this business that you're feeling emotional over is solvable. Everything with your leads, it's all solvable. Contact rate, like I just said. Maybe you need to make more dials, get to your leads quicker, check the spam flags, right? Maybe you just need to consider inbound calls if that's just too much for you, all right? But it's solvable. Don't let it get you down. Take action. What if it's sales rate? People are, a lot of people fail out of this business because they can't sell to the leads that they talk to. And that's an issue. It absolutely is an issue. And, and it brings out a lot of emotion. But you just need to master your presentation and communication skills. It's solvable. Your sales rate's solvable. When you tell yourself it's the leads, you're bringing emotion into it. Jeff, these leads don't close. I can't even, I give rates and people aren't buying, right? Guys, if you're able to give full presentations, it's not the leads, okay? It's your emotional subconscious blaming the leads. Full stop there, okay? You just need to get better on the phones, okay? I'll repeat that again. If you're able to give full presentations to the leads that you're working and you're not having great success there, it's not the leads. Sometimes it could be the leads. If you're not able to give presentations and whatnot, then yeah, it could be the leads. But most of the time, it's not, all right? So chargebacks. Chargebacks is a big thing. It's a reason why people don't buy leads, because they bought some leads and then they made some sales and then some chargebacks hit. And they think that's like the cycle of this business. And yeah, you should expect a certain amount of chargebacks, right? But are you selling correctly? And are you proactively servicing your client? Are you prepared for a certain amount of that to charge back? Or are you spending your commission right when you get it? Okay. If your placement and persistency is bad and you're getting a lot of chargebacks, that's solvable, guys. When you see it that way and you work to mitigate it, you won't let chargebacks ruin your day, your week, your month. Okay. It's part of the business, but if you need to be proactive about it, and it's solvable. If you have a high percentage of chargebacks, that is solvable. You should expect a small percentage of chargebacks in this business, though. Okay. I can go on and on about this. Every issue you have in this business is solvable if you focus on the math. Buying leads is the foundation to this math equation. There is no equation unless you buy leads. There is no business unless you buy leads. And all the issues that you have that are, that you're getting emotional about are solvable issues. All right. All the math starts with the leads you're investing in. You're investing in leads and you're able to even have this equation. You have the ability to build a business. Okay. And emotion can be, I do want to clarify here. Emotion can be absolutely fine as long as it's not negatively attached to your decision-making process. All right. Your decision-making process should always be based on math, not your emotions. All right. And have real talk with yourself. If the math isn't working, did you apply the effort that you needed to get the math to work? Okay. So again, focus on the math, not the emotion. And that could be a big help in getting over your hesitancy to buy leads. All right. And then here's just another very basic mindset shift that I just want to toss in this video because it helped me and it may help some of you. When I was an independent agent years and years and years ago, it's what really helped me get through spending a lot of money on leads. I was spending money on leads, but I wasn't spending a lot of money on leads. And I'll always remember that. So just wanted to share it here. So, I used to just hold on to my money, right? So what I'm saying here is to replace that belief in your head that I need to hold on to my money because it's limited. Okay? To money flows to those who take calculated risks and invest in themselves wisely. It's a principle that underpins entrepreneurship in general. For me, it does. Okay? I was living in a one-bedroom apartment with my girlfriend, my now wife, selling life insurance over our kitchen table. I remember the sun beaming down because we had this shiny, it was a marble top table here, and I had my laptop on here, selling life insurance over the phone. But I'd be there all day, and it's funny because the sun would shine on the marble and it reflect onto my face. And so over time, I'd get more tan and tan and tan, and my wife would think, girlfriend at the time would think I'm surfing all day. But that was showing that I was actually working. The more tan I got, the more time I spent in front of my computer selling. And she realized that the tanner I got, the more time I was selling and making more income. All that to say is that at that time, we were saving a little bit, but we couldn't afford to buy a house. We lived in California. It was really hard to to come up with money to buy a house because just really unaffordable in Southern California, or even get married. Like we couldn't do either of those two things. And we were making pretty decent money. We both decided that if we were going to change our trajectory in our life, we needed to go all in this business and our skill set. And that's because the numbers worked. We looked at the numbers and, that's how we were going to make our life different. And that's exactly what we did. So, between us, like we made a bunch of changes in our finances. I tripled my marketing efforts overnight and it just snowballed from there. It just kept, and as, you may triple your efforts overnight, but over time, those efforts compound because that tripled effort over 6-12 months, like there's just a lot that happens there. And 2 years later, we were married and we bought our first home. And I always come back to that mindset shift of money flows to those who take calculated risks and invest in themselves wisely. We invested in ourselves in learning a lot, took a bunch of courses. I took some marketing courses. I took some sales courses. At the time, it's funny. At the time, like NEPQ is big right now. I took Natural Selling by Michael Oliver, and it's very NEPQ based. It is NEPQ. I think Jeremy Miner took that Natural Selling course and created an NEPQ from it. I took Sandler's sales system. I took a lot of these different marketing and sales courses. And my wife took a bunch of like operations type courses, and we just invested in our skills. But I invested in leads, and that's what really catapulted us into our income, so we're able to get on a different trajectory. Anyway, that was a mindset shift that I have, and maybe that helps some of you put it into my story, my perspective. But after that, a few years later after that, we bought the house, kids, started Digital BGA with Nick a few years after that. So when you invest in yourself and your business, you're setting the stage for greater returns. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about, and the last thing I'll talk about here, is that sometimes it's not mindset. It's not anything like that, right? Sometimes you just don't have the money. It's about cash flow, having the funds to purchase leads. And here's what we train on Digital BGA. You've heard this in many of our videos before. Okay. If this is you, consider applying for a credit card solely for your lead purchases. This is what we tell agents at Digital BGA to do. Put your lead purchases on this card and pay it off in 30 days before the interest hits. Okay, before the interest hits. That's key. This strategy buys you 30 days of cash flow. It's a common strategy businesses use. It may not be credit, maybe other lines of credit businesses may use, but you can do this with a credit card, okay? It's been key for us in scaling Digital BGA. I wish I would have known this when I was an independent agent. When I tripled my lead spend, we took that leap. We could have just gotten cards and put on the cards and paid off in 30 days. I just didn't think that way. I didn't have the knowledge that I do now. All right. But that's what I would do. And I know I do have to address this because every time I mention credit cards, I get somebody commenting and I know many of you are thinking of it if we get comments about it, but many of you see credit cards as a bad thing. And yes, it's a bad thing if you're spending more than you earn and you're carrying a balance. Okay. That's bad credit. Guys, this is good credit. You're leveraging money to make more money. You're not paying any interest on it. Okay. If you get a $5,000, $10,000 credit line, you don't need to spend that $5,000 and $10,000 from your bank account. You don't need to do that. You can keep that money in your bank account, put it all on your credit card, pay it off at the end. You'll have more commissions than balance on your credit card, and you keep that money. And that's how you build this business. Okay. When you look at lead purchasing through this lens, through the mindset that we just talked about, through seeing leads as an investment, not as a cost, through focusing on the math, not the emotion, by saying money flows to those who take calculated risks and invest in themselves wisely, right? If you look at it through that, it becomes clear that spending money on leads is a strategic move, and one that's central to making this business work. And it's something you have to get over if you want to make it in this business. Okay. And, it's not just an expense. It's an investment in your success. If you can challenge those limiting beliefs head on and focus on the math, not the emotion, You're just going to empower yourself to take these calculated risks, and these calculated risks can lead to big rewards. It has for me, it has for a lot of agents at Digital BGA, and I hope that it can for you.